Okay, so Google's Gemini AI has got you curious.
It has a lot of people curious.
But maybe all the versions are making you feel a little lost.
Yeah, it's like picking out a new phone plan, you know?
Right. So many choices, and you don't even know, like, what to focus on.
And it's hard to know what really matters.
That's why we're here.
We're going to unpack it all.
Yeah, we're going to lay it all out.
We're going to figure
and
out
help you decide which Gemini model
is the best fit for you.
Yeah, we're going to compare the free version with Gemini Advanced.
Even take a look at the potential of Gemini 2.0.
Yes, and to give us a well-rounded perspective, we're going to be looking at sources like
LifeWire,
Cinco Dias,
and the New York Post.
Okay, so let's just dive right in.
Let's do it.
So picture this. You're staring at a blank page.
Oh, yeah.
You need to write that important email or presentation.
Happens all the time.
And this is where even the free version of Gemini can be a game changer.
Absolutely it can. And, it's built on the 1.5 Flash large language model.
What does that mean?
So that means that it can handle a surprising amount of information.
Okay.
32,000 tokens.
Tokens, what are those?
So tokens are like the building blocks of language processing.
Okay, so 32,000 of them.
Yeah, and that's enough to really help you polish your writing.
Wow.
Generate different creative text formats.
Amazing.
Even have those back and forth AI interactions that we're all getting used to these days.
Okay, so it's kind of like a super-powered writing assistant in your pocket.
That's a great way to put it, precisely.
Now, the free version's great for everyday tasks.
It is.
But Gemini Advanced is where things get really interesting.
This is where we step it up a notch.
I am so ready.
Yeah.
Tell me what makes it so special.
Well, for one, it uses the even more powerful Gemini 1.5 Pro model,
Okay.
which can handle a whopping 1 million tokens.
Oh, that's a lot.
That is a big difference.
What can you even do with that much power?
Well, imagine being able to not just write text,
Oh, come on.
but also generate images and even code.
Yep.
Yeah, think about like a small business owner who wants to create a website but doesn't know how to code.
That's very common.
With Gemini Advanced, they could just describe their vision and have the AI generate the code for them.
Oh, my goodness.
It's pretty incredible.
So you don't have to be a coder.
Exactly. It really opens up a world of possibilities.
It makes things so accessible.
It does.
So I heard it also works well with other Google apps.
Yes. It integrates seamlessly with Google Docs, Sheets, and Gmail.
Oh, man, that is so convenient.
Makes things so much easier. You can streamline your workflow and say goodbye to all that annoying copy and pasting.
My life would be so much better if I didn't have to copy and paste.
Whose wouldn't be?
But this much power probably comes with a price tag, right?
It does. Gemini Advanced is a subscription service.
Okay, here it comes.
But it's not as bad as you might think. It's just $20 a month.
Oh, that's not bad.
Not bad at all, especially considering what you get.
Yeah, and there's also that free trial, right?
Yes, there is. You get a whole month to
Yeah.
try out Gemini Advanced completely free. And you even get 2 terabytes of Google One storage bundled with your subscription.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like a bonus gift with your AI upgrade.
That's a really good deal. Okay, so for our listeners who are out there and thinking about getting Gemini, how do they know whether to go with the free version or to upgrade to advanced?
That's a great question. And the most important thing is to just be honest with yourself about your needs and what you really want to achieve with an AI model.
Yeah, and don't get caught up in the hype.
Exactly.
Figure out what problems you actually want to solve.
And if you're mainly looking for help with writing, editing, basic AI interactions, the free version might be perfect.
But if you're thinking bigger, you want to work on those more complex projects.
Or if you need to generate images or code.
Then Gemini Advanced could really change the game.
And with that free trial, why not give it a shot,
Yeah, no reason not to try it out and see if it fits into your life.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered the free version and Gemini Advanced, but there's another big player in this world that we haven't even talked about yet.
Yeah.
Gemini 2.0.
Here we go.
This is where things get really futuristic.
This is the next generation.
Yeah, it's pushing the boundaries of what AI can even do, and I've heard it described as like the era of agents.
That's right. The era of agents.
What is an AI agent?
Okay, well, an AI agent is basically an AI that can act autonomously to complete tasks for you.
Okay, so like instead of just telling Gemini 2.0 to order groceries.
Right. It can actually connect to your shopping apps, choose your usual items, find the best deals, and place the order all on its own.
Whoa, it's like having a superpower personal assistant that actually gets things done.
Exactly. And this is where, things get really interesting because we're not just talking about generating content anymore.
It's this next level.
We're talking about automating tasks and delegating responsibilities to an AI.
Wow, and our source Cinco Dias actually described Gemini 2.0 as a significant leap in AI capabilities.
un importante salto en las capacidades de la IA.
Yes. Can you translate that for us?
Oh, yeah. So basically it means that Gemini 2.0 marks a major advancement in what AI can achieve. It's a total game changer.
Wow. Okay. So this all sounds amazing, but I'm sure some people are listening and thinking, this is a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's a lot to wrap your head around.
There's so many different models, features, price points.
And it's all changing so fast.
It can be kind of overwhelming to keep up.
It really can. And, it's not always easy to separate the hype from reality.
Yeah. So how do our listeners know where to even start? Like, how do they choose the right Gemini model for them?
Well, like I said before, you just have to be honest with yourself about your needs and your expectations, and don't buy into the hype. Just figure out what problem you're trying to solve.
Okay. So focus on what you actually need.
Exactly. And stay informed,
Yeah.
keep up with the official announcements from Google. So, what's new, what are the new features, and any price changes.
And don't be afraid to get in there and experiment.
Right? Yes. Take advantage of those free trials. Play around with the different models, see which one fits your style and your workflow.
Yeah. That's great advice. And I think it's important to remember that this isn't just about picking an AI tool.
This is about understanding how AI is changing everything.
Exactly. It's changing the way we live and the way we work.
Mhm.
And as we wrap up this first part of our deep dive into Google's Gemini AI, I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay, give me.
As AI becomes more sophisticated, as it becomes more integrated into our lives, are we even ready for the changes that it's going to bring?
That is the question, isn't it?
What do you think?
I think it's a question we all need to be asking ourselves.
We're going to continue this conversation part 2, so stay tuned.
Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to our deep dive into Google's Gemini AI.
We're picking up right where we left off. We covered a lot.
We did. We went from the free version to Gemini Advanced.
We even got a glimpse of that era of agents thing with Gemini 2.0.
It's fascinating stuff, and it's moving so fast.
Yeah, and before we get too deep into those big picture questions about the future of AI,
Okay.
I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier. That ability of Gemini Advanced to not only generate text, but also images and even code.
Right.
I think it's a huge step.
It is.
And I think it'd be helpful to sort of unpack that a bit more for our listeners.
Absolutely, yeah. The ability to generate images and code really opens up a world of possibilities.
For sure.
Especially for people who may not have those traditional coding or design skills.
Yeah.
Like, imagine a teacher who wants to create, really engaging visuals for their students, but they don't have a background in graphic design.
Right.
With Gemini Advanced, that they could just describe what they want and have the AI generate it for them.
That's a great example.
It's pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, or like somebody who wants to build like a simple app, but they don't know how to code.
Exactly.
Gemini Advanced could level the playing field, make those really technical skills accessible to everybody.
It really could, and this is where that idea of, democratizing technology really comes into play.
I love that phrase,
Yes.
democratizing technology.
AI tools like Gemini really have the power to empower individuals and small businesses, giving them access to capabilities that they never would have had before.
And it's breaking down those barriers,
It is.
making technology work for everyone, not just like the tech geniuses out there.
Exactly.
So speaking of breaking down those barriers, let's talk about Gemini 2.0 and those AI agents.
Okay.
You were saying they could really change the way we interact with technology, and I want to kind of dig into that a little bit more.
Absolutely. Yeah, imagine a world where you can just tell your AI agent what you need.
Okay.
And it just takes care of the rest.
Anything.
Booking appointments, ordering groceries, even managing your finances.
Oh my goodness.
It's about shifting from that world where we have to interact with technology through these screens and interfaces
Yeah.
to a world where it's much more natural, through conversation and delegation.
So convenient.
It is.
But is it safe? I mean, are there downsides? What about security and privacy?
You're right. That's a valid concern, and it's something that developers are thinking about a lot. They're working to address it.
Okay.
You need robust security measures and user controls.
So we can be sure that those AI agents are used safely and responsibly.
Exactly. We have to remember that AI is a tool.
Okay.
Like any tool, it can be used for good or bad.
Right.
The way that we choose to develop and deploy AI is going to determine whether it helps us or creates problems.
So it's not just about the tech itself. It's about our intentions,
It's about our values.
about what we're trying to do with it.
Exactly. And this is where, we have to have that conversation about AI ethics.
Yes, ethics. That's so important.
We need to make sure that AI is being developed and used in a way that aligns with our human values. things like fairness and transparency and accountability.
So it's not just about what AI can do, but what it should do.
That's right.
And we have to be having those conversations now,
We do.
before it's too late.
Before these technologies get so deeply ingrained in our lives that it's too late to change course.
And these conversations need to involve everyone.
Yeah, they do. Developers, policymakers, everyday users.
Everybody.
We all have a stake in this, and we all need to be part of shaping the future of AI.
Couldn't agree more. It's our collective responsibility.
It is.
And we need to approach it with both that excitement for the possibilities, but also caution
A healthy dose of caution for sure.
to make sure that AI is used for good.
Well said. That brings us back to the question we posed at the end of part 1. Are we ready
Are we ready?
for these changes that AI is going to bring? It's a complex question.
It really is. And the answer probably depends on who you ask.
It does, and what aspects of AI we're talking about. Some people are going to be thrilled about the potential for things to be more efficient and convenient,
For sure.
while others are worried about, what's going to happen to jobs.
Yeah. Job displacement,
The loss of privacy.
valid concerns.
They are, and we have to be honest and open about, these potential impacts of AI on society and the economy and our individual lives.
For sure. And we need to invest in education and training
We do.
to help people adapt to a changing job market
Mm-hmm.
and equip them with the skills that they need to really thrive in this AI-powered world that's coming.
That's such a good point.
I think the main thing is that we can't just sit back and watch.
We can't be passive.
We have to be active participants in this.
We have to demand transparency from these companies.
And we have to advocate for policies that are in line with our values.
Couldn't agree more. It's about taking ownership of our future
Yes.
and making sure that this technology is a force for good.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about these big implications of AI,
We have.
but I want to bring it back down to something a little more practical for our listeners.
Okay.
Let's say someone's listening and they're thinking, okay, this is all very interesting,
Uh-huh.
but how do I actually start using these tools?
Right.
Like, where do I even begin?
That's a great question. And the good news is, there are a lot of AI-powered tools that are available now.
Okay.
Think about those smart assistants on your phone,
Oh, yeah.
language translation apps.
That's hopeful.
They make traveling so much easier.
They really do.
There are AI-powered tools for all sorts of things.
Like writing,
Yeah, Joan.
managing your finances.
The key is just start small. Experiment.
Don't be afraid to try things out.
Exactly.
See what works for you and then just gradually incorporate them into your workflow.
Yeah, little by little.
You don't have to become an expert overnight.
No, you don't.
Just start exploring.
See what these tools can do.
And as you become more comfortable,
Yeah.
you'll naturally start to see how you can use them in those more creative and innovative ways.
You will.
I love that it's like AI isn't replacing our creativity, it's amplifying it.
Exactly. It's making it even better.
And that's what makes this whole field so exciting. It's not just about technology.
It's about how technology and human creativity come together.
Yeah. And the possibilities really are endless.
They are.
So I think we've covered a lot in this second part of our deep dive.
We talked about potential benefits, the challenges, ethical considerations, the need for accessibility and education.
Yeah. But before we wrap things up completely in part 3, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Yeah. Right.
As AI becomes more and more a part of our lives,
Uh-huh.
how do we make sure that it's actually benefiting humanity as a whole?
Right. Not just a select few.
Not just the privileged or the powerful.
That is the question.
It's a big one, and we're going to tackle it head on in part 3, so stay tuned. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Google's Gemini AI.
It's been fascinating exploring all these different models.
From that free version to all the advanced stuff in Gemini 2.0.
Yeah, and we've had some really great discussions about, the bigger picture
Like how to make AI accessible to everyone and all the ethical stuff.
and how we can adapt to all these changes that AI is bringing.
So to wrap things up, I think we should revisit that question that we left hanging at the end of part 2.
Oh, yeah. How do we make sure that AI benefits all of humanity?
Exactly, not just a select few.
That's the big question.
It is a big one, and I'm ready to try and tackle it.
Well, I think we need to start by remembering that, AI isn't some magical force out there.
Yeah.
It's created by people.
Okay.
And those people make choices about how it's developed, how it's used.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the humans behind it.
It's about the decisions that they make.
And those decisions have to be based on a deep understanding of how AI could impact society.
the economy.
our own individual lives.
Absolutely.
So how do we guarantee that those decisions are made with like the best interests of humanity at heart?
I think one thing that's really important is making sure that everyone has a seat at the table. We need to be having these conversations with developers and policymakers,
Researchers,
ethicists.
everyday people like us.
We all need to be working together.
It can't just be those tech companies or academics deciding everything for us.
We need a variety of perspectives.
You need to hear all those different voices.
We need to move beyond the hype and, all the scary stuff that people talk about.
Yeah, we need to really understand what AI is all about.
And have these nuanced, informed conversations about the good and the bad.
And it's not just about talking, right?
It's not.
We need to actually do things.
We need action.
We need policies that can guide us.
To make sure AI is developed responsibly and fairly.
So it's kind of like building a car.
Yeah.
You need that powerful engine,
You do.
but you also need the
The
brakes.
safety feature.
Right. You need to make sure the whole thing doesn't just veer off the road.
Great analogy.
And just like any new technology, there are going to be challenges.
There will be.
We're going to make mistakes.
There will be bumps in the road.
But with good planning, open communication, and, a commitment to doing the right thing,
A commitment to ethics.
we can make AI work for us.
I think so too.
It's easy to focus on like the worst case scenarios.
The what ifs.
Yeah. But I really do believe that we have the power to shape this future.
We do.
And one of the most important ways we can do that is through education.
That's right.
The more we understand AI,
The better decisions we can make.
it's not about everyone becoming an expert,
It's about understanding the basics,
how these systems work,
how they can impact our lives.
so that we can all be part of the conversation,
We need to be informed.
so we can ask those tough questions.
Demand transparency.
Make sure AI is being developed in a way that aligns with our values.
Exactly. And that's what's so empowering about it.
It's not AI happening to us.
We're in control.
We're shaping this future.
We are.
So this deep dive has been a real eye-opener.
It has.
What are some key things that you hope our listeners will take away from all of this?
Well, the biggest takeaway is that, the future of AI isn't set in stone.
Yeah.
We're writing it right now.
And we all have a part in that story.
Every single one of us.
It's a call to action, people.
It is.
So stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
Keep asking questions.
And for those of you who are ready to jump in and really start exploring this world,
Yeah. What should they do?
well, there are all those free trials we were talking about.
Try them out. See how AI can work for you.
And remember, the learning never stops.
Keep up with all the new developments,
The research,
the ethical debates.
it's all happening right now.
It's an exciting time.
We've opened this door to a whole new world.
And the journey is just beginning.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible adventure into the world of Google's Gemini AI.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll be back next time with another deep dive into a topic that's shaping our world.
Until then, keep learning.
And keep exploring.